Californians use an average of 181 gallons a day per person of water. 53% of this is used for home irrigation in a study by Dr. Vamani at USC. As a water resources engineer, I strive to reduce the amount of consumption that we have and increase our water supply within our state. Even during the most recent drought, many people still water their lawns with safe-to-drink water. They most likely didn't switch to gray water systems because the permitting is very strict in California. People in California should have gray water systems for their irrigation and also advocate for less restrictions when it comes to gray water systems. Today I'll talk about the safety of systems, what you can currently have with your systems, and how this will help with our current water crisis. Dr. O'Toole in 2014 describes gray water as used water from kitchens, laundries, bathrooms, or any part of the house that isn't from the toilet. Water that contains human waste is considered black water. There's a common misconception that these two are the same and that gray water is actually unsafe to use. Dr. O'Toole agrees with several other researchers that there is no harmful bacteria found within the gray water. A study by Dr. Benami looked at the certain bacteria that could be found within soils treated by gray water. She found that there was no addition to harmful bacteria within the ones that were treated. Another study by Dr. Busgang focused on if people who lived in gray water households became more ill more often than people who used traditional irrigation methods. She also found that there was no difference between the two. Lastly, Dr. Safira, in a 2013 study, found that gray water can actually be better for your plants. Her original hypothesis was that gray water is bad for plants because it has the possibility of raising your pH levels from soaps. She found that when households use the right liquid detergents, soaps, and fertilizers, the plants could actually grow and become more healthy. This is because of the increase in organic matter that is present in gray water, mostly from food particles. These soaps and detergents that are good for gray water systems are actually very common. You just need to avoid the ones with ingredients that have high salt compounds, boron, and chlorine bleach. Through these studies, we've shown that there's nothing to worry about as far as safety of gray water systems for us and our plants. So why does California have such strict permitting laws when it comes to gray water? A study performed by Dr. Yu at UCLA was published regarding the current regulations in the United States and how that affects people who own gray water systems. He claimed that the states do not fully integrate the plan of gray water very well and that the policies are usually inconsistent with the plumbing codes. This will either prevent people from taking full advantage of their irrigation potential, or they will make their system without permission, which could be unsafe if they accidentally hook it up to the black water. Many people in California take advantage of something called the no permit system. This allows us to have a gray water system that we don't have to pay for an expensive permit and upkeep. There are a couple rules when it comes to this system, and that includes the water must only come from our washing machines with no change to our plumbing system. While many systems already separate our gray water from our black water, it's highly uncommon to find one where the laundry is separated from the shower and then the bath and the sinks. So this would prevent those people who have that kind of system from being able to utilize a gray water system. Other stipulations that are with the no permit system are that you must have specific valves to prevent overflows, and you may only discharge on certain types of surfaces. If the law opened up to being able to use water from showers and sinks, we could utilize a lot more water for our gardens, and the plants will also be able to enjoy the extra nutrients from the organic matter. These restrictions have caused so many people in California to make rogue systems that is actually unlikely to estimate how many gray water systems are currently in our state. Switching to most people using gray water systems in our state can be critical for lowering the impact of our next drought. Dr. Richmond published an article in 2015 describing the causes and uniqueness of our most recent drought. He claimed that California will always be prone to droughts for it has a desert-like qualities in our state, but as population grows and heat rises, the droughts are going to get worse. The main factors that caused such a bad drought in 2014 is that we had a couple of dry years followed by a couple of warm years. Even though it rained in the later years and we got more precipitation, the rising heat kept us from being able to maintain our snowpack, which lowered our water supply. And with climate change, this is going to continually get worse. If we use gray water to lower our demand, we could create a more sustainable state. If we don't do something about our water use, another drought is bound to happen, and it could be more detrimental than the last. Dr. Edgar Lee from the American Society of Civil Engineers had a study where he used different water conservation methods, and number 12 is a full gray water system utilizing what I said before about the laundry and the sinks and all that. It was a little confusing because I couldn't figure out what the other ones were for because they only talked about number 12, but number 1 is no conservation and number 12 is the full gray water system. So as you can see, that's almost half of the amount of water. I would urge everyone here to look into the possibility of implementing a gray water system in their homes, and hopefully you all advocate to have less restrictive no-permit policies in our state. Together, we can lower the average of 181 gallons a person per day.